with the exposure of treaty violations, Standing Rock, and the quality of life in our ricing beds helps our Indigenous people understand the importance of voting?
I first want to say the futility. You know, working for the Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe, I was their self-governance coordinator. So when the Tina Smith and Amy Klobuchar and Walls came to Leech Lake, they come and pander our vote. They come in and get the tribal officials to contribute and saying our people will back you in the vote. Now, this time I've had an opportunity to throw Trump's words at him, which was, what have you really done for us other than pander the vote and say that you're better than Trump, and yet you don't really do anything for us. Now, with Amy Klobuchar and Tina Smith, who I would support, who I told my children and those around me to vote for, because they are the lesser of two evils. But when it came time to protecting the Monoman, the mines, I believe it was Tina Smith that came right out and said it, that she supports them because that's where the more votes came from. That was offensive to me, as it is at this moment, and because they want our vote, but then can push us aside and expect us to not remember that when we come up with a more evil choice in the Congress and the presidency. So I'm still getting the calls from Tina Smiths, and I remind them that I'm telling my family, those that listen to me, to vote for Tina Smith, but I want them to know that she has hurt by devaluing and shrugging us to the side. So, you know, I don't mean to be a downer on the futility, but when we can be shoved to the side because there's 100,000 more votes that she can garner by saying I support mining and pipeline. That's troublesome.
Yeah. So Tina, if you're watching this, or any of Tina's campaign people, please come and talk to us, because maybe you're not listening to the right people. Because yes, we do believe that iron sulfide mining is, you know, or copper sulfide mining is not something that we need for our rice beds, for our water, for our people.
Thank you. Yeah, and you know, her people have, you know, I've talked to them like 4 times. I filled out something somewhere, and they got my phone number. So they say they are talking to her, they are relaying these. My last point was, don't just talk to tribal leaders. I said, because the tribal leaders just represent their one vote. Yes. And they actually got to remember that they're pandering our vote or soliciting our vote.
Super important to remember.
I get it, the voting for the lesser of two evils, but how great would it be if we had someone that we could vote for the right person, for the right reasons, not just because they're less evil than the other one.
Mm-hmm. That's why we need to get people in there who we want instead of not who they give us.
Exactly. That's why we need our people to start standing up and stepping forward. And we need our people to start expressing what they want, not what they wish would happen, but what they need to happen.
Yes.
And to fight for it. You know, I mean, come on, we are fighters. Otherwise, none of us would be here.
Right.
You know, our ancestors fought to live. We're doing the same thing. So we need to vote, but we need to demand that someone listens. We need to make them listen. And we need to have someone that we can vote for because they are the right person. And I believe that's probably going to be an indigenous person. But we need someone to step up. We need to talk to our community members. You know, maybe you're not the right person, but maybe you know the right person.
Or maybe you're raising the right person right now.
Exactly, you know?
You know, that's what I'm thinking is we're raising the right person right now. They're listening to these words. They're listening to this video. They're active, but they're not sure which way to go, or they have something to say, but maybe they don't think anybody wants to listen. So as elders, I think it's important that we do put that thought into action, that we do reach out to our children and our grandchildren and say, yes, you can. When I was little, one of my favorite things that I was told was that there wasn't something that I couldn't do, or there was no. My grandmother gave me the best gift, and it wasn't material. She gave me permission to be unique, to be eccentric. She said, you're an artist, and artists can do whatever they want. And no matter what type of artist you are, you can do whatever you want. You build the world that you want. And I didn't realize what a gift that was when I was little, but as an adult, I realized I wasn't told I couldn't. So I did.
All right, I just got to ask, who was told to quit being Indianish?
Or when somebody came in the yard, you don't know nothing. You know.
That's just your relative. Don't ask how.
Yeah. But that was such a gift to me. And my grandma was unique. And all the women in my family were unique and odd and bullheaded is the way my dad said it. They're bullheaded, you know, and I think that meant they're strong women. And so that, I've always been really proud of the women in my family that were eccentric.
I think with the Dakota Access Pipeline resistance, the treaties violations over the years, and the anti-mining, all of those things in Minnesota here have taught me about the importance to vote, is that these so-called politicians and that's where the concept of particularism comes in, that if they stand up, I think, and say, because there's the four elements to life, which is earth, wind, and fire, and water. So if they stand up for life, then we'll stand up for them and vote for them on that particular one. They're running their whole campaign, so to speak, on just that particular thing. Because this thought of universalism, where the one will say the lesser of two evils will then capitulate to the more voting bloc in the American form of government, is a problem to us. So we can't have that. Our interests do not always align with the ones that are elite, the established ones. So our interest is about life for the next generations. Long term. They're all about short term. And when they talk about profits and these things like that, they know that they're against our interests. So that's why we say capitalism in its current form, colonialism, racism, particularly because capitalism is premised and based on racism. And of course, egalitarian, you have to be lifting the women. And all those other ones, those intersectionality of oppression will then be lifted also. So we've got to be particular in who we choose for our interests in its current form. And we've always got to be aware of how do you change a system that's been, these institutions. For instance, an institution such as an all-white jury, a jury of your peers, that's not our... The Senate, 6 years they're elected in there, much more so than the president, 4 years. The Supreme Court, for life. So there's lots of institutions that can be looked at, and then we take a look at our own institutions in our own communities. What are they based upon? Your philosophy, the way you see the world, the cosmology, the philosophy you have, the values that we have and hold dear to, next generations and things, family, relatives, all these values. And then we build our institutions from that. The things that we value are not the same as what's being valued in the American way of governance. So we've got to be really, I think, particular in our thinking. Because the ones that are shouting, "We the people," be wary of those ones.
I think so. Why it's so important to vote today. Well, as a Native person, as Native people here, it's our job to take care of this Mother Earth. Look what they're doing to us. Look what the white people are doing. There's more pollution in the air, the pipeline, that's going to, what if it erupts and that's going to ruin our Mother Earth. And that's how we need to talk to our senators and our whoever's in politics, so we need to talk about this. We're against that, we're against our traditions and that, not let this happen all the time. That's why things are getting worse and that, and Mother Earth is dying right now. We need to take care of it. So as a Native person, we need to take care of Mother Earth. That's why it's so important to vote right now.
Yeah. I think the most evidence that we see that we're causing so much trauma to Mother Earth is when the pandemic hit and everybody hid. What happened in a week, in 2 weeks? What happened?
Seismology, the seismologists had noticed that there was nobody driving around, so there was no, Earth was not shaking. So that time everybody got in the pandemic and they said nobody should be going anywhere. I noticed that right away, how quiet it was. Holy, I couldn't hear town.
Yeah.
And how clear the skies were getting.
Pollution.
That's the way it was a long time ago. There was no pollution problems. And look at today. A lot of pollution problems today.
Yeah, but the hole in the ozone, the fish in the waters came back. Animals were roaming through the middle of town. So it's amazing what just even a few weeks. So we need to really think about that.